Was finally able to get my hands on a Glock G44. This little pistol has continually generated drama since its announcement. With over 1,000 rounds through the G44 at this point, it's time for a review. So buckle up. There's a lot to talk about, and let's get started. Right out of the gate, I want to give a shout out to Glock for sending me this G44 to review. Now, this is the first time that we have worked with Glock on a T&E project here on the channel, so very excited about that. I picked up this little G44 a few days ago at the local gun shop and noticed right out of the box it was shooting high and to the left. Not a big problem because the G44 does come with an adjustable rear sight. By the time I got the G44 sighted in, and of course everybody at the gun shop got their turn at playing with the little Glock G44 for the first time, I had about 200 rounds through it with only a couple of malfunctions, and both of those were attributed to not inserting the magazine fully into the mag well. I've had 2 solid days of testing on the Glock G44, and as I said earlier, I have put over 1,000 rounds to it. Now, the interesting thing about those 1,000 rounds is that's split among 20 different types of .22 ammunition. I started off the testing with some Federal Automatch 40 grain lead round nose at a velocity of 1,200 feet a second. I ran through several magazines with absolutely no issues. In fact, I find that the Federal Automatch is probably the ammunition that I would recommend to feed reliably through the G44, to cycle reliably through the G44, and come in at a pretty decent price point as well. Moving forward, I went to some CCI Clean Subsonic 40 grain polycoated round nose at 1,070 feet a second. Once again, everything ran fine, and I ran several magazines through the G44 with no issues on this ammunition. The next ammo I tried, some Nato Match 22, gave all sorts of trouble. This was a 40 grain lead round nose at a velocity of 1,100 feet a second. I couldn't get through a single magazine without one of 3 issues happening. Either it was a fail to extract, a fail to feed, or we had a stovepipe. I've seen other videos where certain ammunition does this, and it's maybe a good time to give my theory on what's going on. I don't necessarily blame the G44 here. You see, the muzzle velocity and the pressure of a particular cartridge are not exclusive. You can have both high velocity, low pressure ammo the same way you can have low velocity, high pressure ammo. There are many variables at play that can create this situation, from the type of propellant used to the projectile used to the thickness of the brass, all sorts of things. The pressure is the important thing here, because ammo with a low pressure, though the velocity may seem all right, may not have enough power to cycle some semi-auto firearms properly. This is not necessarily the fault of the firearm or that particular ammunition. It just means that some ammo is better suited for other things, like maybe a match-grade bolt rifle. Continuing with the testing, I broke out some CCI MiniMags, a very popular ammunition, which are 36 grain plated hollow points at 1,235 feet a second. This stuff ran fine as well, with no issues across multiple magazines. I should take another minute here to point out something that has been a topic of discussion surrounding the Glock G44, and that is how it may not like projectile weights under 40 grains. In all my testing, I did not have any issues or malfunctions that I could directly attribute to the grain weight of the projectile used in the ammunition. After firing quite a few magazines of the CCI MiniMags, things started to take a turn for the worst, or so I thought. I was inspecting the slide after every magazine that I shot, checking for potential cracks. Well, after the last mag of CCI MiniMags, there appeared to be a vertical crack just below the extractor. This concerned me, so I took the slide off and inspected everything. There was no visible cracks internally, so my first thought was that maybe it just got scratched. For those that are unaware, the slide on the Glock G44 It does have metal in all of the right places, but it also contains a lot of polymer. I continued on with the testing and fired quite a few more magazines of the previously mentioned ammunition. At about the 350 round mark, I noticed a second vertical line just below the front of the injection port. This line was identical to the one below the extractor, both of which were on the polymer portion of the slide. At this point, I sort of lost my mind, and I was 100% sure that the slide was starting to crack in multiple places, so I called it a day. After stepping away from the situation for a few hours and sort of thinking about it, I decided that I was going to seek consult from a couple of other friends, acquaintances of mine that have these Glock G44 pistols and have put thousands of rounds through them with no significant problems. One of these people was JBJ Honez. Now, I'll throw a link to his channel up in the corner in case you want to check out some of his stuff on the Glock G44. Anyway, after those consults, I felt really silly. As it turns out, those guys were aware of the vertical line under the extractor, and both said it was there right out of the box. So apparently it was something that I just didn't notice. To be fair, these little lines are super hard to see depending on the angle of the pistol, how you're looking at it, and your lighting situation. It's pretty obvious that this is some type of a tooling mark or a mold issue maybe with the polymer portion of the G44 slides. It is not the beginnings of a crack. With all that drama, I woke up the next day eager to hit the range and take this G44 from a 350 or so round count to up over 1,000. I started out the day testing some Browning BPR 40 grain plated round nose at 1,435 feet a second. Several mags of that stuff ran fine with no issues, but it is my opinion, just by the feel of the recoil and my experience with various 22s, that consistently shooting anything over 1,400 feet a second, anything in that hypervelocity category, is probably a bit excessive for the Glock G44 and could lead to issues like premature wear or, yes, even cracks in the polymer slide. I moved on from that Browning ammo to some American Eagle 38 grain plated hollow points at 1,280 feet a second. With those, again, everything cycled fine on the first mag anyway, but the second mag, there was an issue while loading the first round. I identified an issue where the top round in the magazine could end up slightly nose up. When this happens, it kicks the nose of the round up even higher when loading and causes it to miss the chamber. This issue can be easily identified, and if you just pay attention while you're loading the magazines and take a quick gander, a quick look at that magazine before you insert it into the pistol, odds are you're probably going to be fine with this particular issue. A second cause of some of those fail to feed problems, particularly on that very first round, could be a combination of the design on the projectile of the ammunition and the feed ramp on the Glock G44. While some out there have tried to compare this Glock G44 to other 22 pistols such as the Browning Buckmark, it's obvious by comparing the feed ramps they cannot be compared. The feed ramp on the Glock G44, shown here on the left, is considerably different than that of the Buckmark on the right. It's this weird feed ramp that I think can contribute to some fail to feed issues, particularly with flat-nosed projectiles or maybe some hollow point projectiles that have a little bit of flatness to the nose. Now, it seems to me that the flatter the nose is on your projectile, the more frequent these fail to feed problems can occur, particularly as that G44 gets dirtier and dirtier. Next, I loaded up some Blazer 40 grain lead round nose at 1,235 feet a second. I was able to get through several rounds of this ammo without any issues. However, I did notice while shooting some of this Blazer that I was getting some powder burn on my hands. Now, with my testing here on the G44, I kind of want to push this thing to the ragged edge, but I want to take a minute and say that I highly recommend with pretty much any 22 firearm, because the ammunition is so inherently dirty, that you at least do a light cleaning within every 3 to, let's say, 500 rounds. That's going to keep your accuracy as good as it can possibly be, and also keep the potential for problems very low. Moving on with the testing, I decided to give some Federal Gold Medal Ultra Match 40 grain lead round nose at 180 feet a second a go. I was almost certain that this stuff was not going to cycle very good because of the potential lower pressure issue that I explained earlier, but lo and behold, I was able to get through a few magazines with no problems. For the next batch of ammo, I decided to test and run through this G44. I chose something that a lot of people probably have not heard about, some old school ammo, some Norinco standard 40 grain lead round nose at 1,070 feet a second. This stuff also ran fine and without incident, which was surprising as it was made back in the 90s and is definitely the oldest 22 ammo I have sitting around. I followed up that Norinco with some straight up subsonic ammo, the Jimtech Silencer Subsonic 42 grain lead round nose at 1,020 feet a second. Again, I was quite surprised at how well that true subsonic ammo ran. Every magazine out of it emptied without a single incident. Before we continue, if you have any questions about this video, the ammunition used, the G44, whatever, hit me up in the comments below and let's have a conversation. Having tried some of the CCI Clean subsonic ammunition earlier, I figured why not give a try to some of the CCI Clean high velocity 40 grain coated round nose at 1,235 feet a second. As expected, since the subsonic shot fine, the high velocity did well too. These are pretty close to the same thing as the CCI MiniMag, just with a polymer coating rather than a copper plating. From there, I ramped things up a bit and decided to try some CCI Stinger 32 grain plated hollow points at a whopping 1,640 feet a second. While every magazine of these ran fine, I stress that I feel they're a bit hot for the G44 and could lead to the premature wear of parts. At the very least, I do not recommend using these on a regular basis. Keeping up with the theme of hypervelocity ammo, I moved on to some Remington Yellowjacket 33 grain plated hollow points at 1,500 feet a second. Like the Stingers and the Browning BPS earlier that day, they ran fine with no issues, but I just felt they were a bit much, sort of overkill for the polymer platform of the G44 pistol. Staying with the Remington brand, I moved on to a very common ammunition, the Remington Golden Bullet 40 grain plated round nose at 1,255 feet a second. Now, I gotta stop a sec and say I shot the Golden Bullets you can pick up in the plastic 100 round box, and I've proven on previous videos that not all Golden Bullets are created equal. Those in the bulk containers can be considerably more inconsistent. I didn't experience any issues through the G44 with this particular variant of the Remington Golden Bullet. Next, I broke out one of my favorite squirrel hunting ammunitions, the Winchester Super X40 grain plated hollow point at 1,280 feet a second. These showed the same first time feed issue that I experienced earlier with the American Eagle. At this point, I was double checking for a raised cartridge in the magazine, but it could have raised when the magazine was inserted. Maybe it raised in my pocket. And the subsequent rounds that I ran in every single magazine following that very first one seemed to feed and cycle fine. Following that, I broke out my absolute favorite match grade ammunition, and if you follow the channel, you know what that is. It is the LE Black Box Match 40 grain lead round nose at 1,072 feet a second. At this point, we were pushing about 1,000 rounds through this pistol with no cleaning, So to cycle such a low pressure match ammunition was encouraging to see from this G44. And finally, I ended that day of testing with another great match ammunition, the Wolf Match Extra 40 grain lead round nose at 1,050 feet a second. Much like the Ellie ammunition before this, the Wolf Match Extra ran flawlessly and also had very minimal recoil. Now that all the different testing with the different types of ammunitions has been explained, I wanted to point out something that was kind of rare during all this testing. Had 2 days of testing again with over 1,000 rounds, and what is strange is during that time I had not one single fail to fire. Everything that cycled and that chambered and went into the chamber, when I pulled the trigger, it fired. And that's pretty amazing considering the, like I said, inconsistencies that you see across so many different types, brands, and variants of 22 ammunition. As we kind of wrap up the review here, there's a couple of things that I need to point out that I don't like about the G44. They're not major, but they're issues. And the first is going to be the ambidextrous safety. The second is going to be the lack of finger grooves. And yes, I know these are not exclusive to just the G44. They apply to any Gen 5 series Glock that's out there. I don't like those two particular features, or in the case of the finger grooves, the lack of those features, right? The other thing, which I mentioned earlier, that makes me a little leery on this G44 is all of the polymer in the slide. Now, granted, it does have metal in what seems to be all the right places, but again, if you've got people out there that are potentially shooting hyper velocity ammo, they don't know any better, and they run through just a ton of that stuff, I think it's going to be really rough on that slide, and having a lot of polymer in that slide, probably not the best design choice. A final thought here on the Glock G44 is pretty simple. Well, it's a Glock. So if you're out there and you hate Glocks, this G44, it's not going to be some magical unicorn that automatically makes you start to like Glocks or become a Glock fanboy. It's just not going to do it. On the flip side of that, if you do like Glocks, then yeah, this could potentially be a great little pistol for you. It's going to have a very comfortable and familiar feel. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Till next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.